This woman was suspended in midair. An old man grabbed a pair of scissors. Then he opened the woman's pants. It took out a tube of milky white liquid and headed towards the woman. The woman screamed as she realized what was about to happen, but it was her own fault. It turns out the woman is a thief. They were a gang of 3. Mary was the brains of the crew. Her boyfriend Jack was in charge of selling the stolen goods, and they had another companion, Tom. One day, Mary and Jack decided to steal a large sum of money and go on the run. Their target was an old house belonging to an old war veteran who lived alone. A year ago, his daughter died in a car accident and he received a large sum of money. The same day, the trio went to the old man's neighborhood and observed the surroundings for a few days. They found that the old man was the only person living within a 30-kilometer radius and that he was blind. Early in the morning, the trio stunned the dog with a drugged sausage. Mary saw a window on the second floor, broke the glass and entered. She then took the remote control, deactivated the alarm and opened the door. The 3 of them entered the house, took off their shoes and began to search for the enormous compensation. Jack went to the old man's bedroom, where a video of his daughter was still playing on the television. As he prepared the drug, the old man suddenly sat up straight. Fortunately, the old man got up to turn off the TV, which relieves Jack. He puts down the cigarette and leaves the room. The 3 of them go downstairs and look at a locked door, but they can't open it. Jack pulls out a pistol. Tom, terrified, drags Mary away, but she won't leave. Jack puts a silencer on the gun and, with a bang, the lock falls to the floor. Tom doesn't want to get into trouble, so he turns his head and leaves. But just as Jack opened the door, the old man appeared. The old man is blind, but he overpowered the burglar. The old man brutally killed him. Mary, who was standing next to him, was stunned. She looked at her boyfriend, who hung up the phone. She held her breath and hid in the check room. Tom, who had just left, was startled by the sound of the gunshot. He's so worried about Mary that he turns back, but nearly bumps into the old man. The old man feels sick, so he locks the door and seals the window. As soon as the old man has gone, Tom receives a message from Mary and learns that she is hiding in the check room. Mary was about to run away when the old man suddenly entered the dressing room. The old man had come here to look for the safe, to make sure the money was still there. Mary stared at him and saw the combination after the old man had left. At this point, Tom also arrived. He advised Mary to call the police, but Mary interrupted Tom. She pressed the combination, opened the safe, and put all the money in her school bag. Now that she had the money, the next problem was how to get out. Tom suddenly remembered the basement he'd seen before entering the house. He could escape that way, so they both got up and prepared to run. But when Mary reached the basement door, she bumped into the old man. Mary was so frightened that she froze in place. Fortunately, the old man had only returned to retrieve the body, but as they moved slowly forward, Tom stepped on the floor. The old man sensed this immediately and raised his gun to find the source of the noise. Tom and Mary couldn't breathe at that point. Just as the old man let his guard down, the cell phone rang and the 2 men brought their hearts to their throats again. At this point, the old man also confirmed that there was no one in the house, and they watched him switch off his cell phone and throw it into his bag. They then took advantage of the old man's presence to dispose of the body and managed to sneak into the basement. But the old man suddenly smelled something and found Jack's shoes. He found Jack's shoe, but when he touched it again, he found another shoe. He realized there was someone else in the house. He then rushed into the check room and opened the safe, which was empty. At this point, the old man is furious beyond belief. For their part, Marie and the others got lost in the cellar, but when they turned on the light, they were shocked by the scene unfolding before them. There was a woman locked in the basement. It was she who had killed the old man's daughter, and the old man wasn't happy with the judgment, so he locked her in the cellar. The old man was also awakened by the sound of the bell and rushed to the basement. At this point, the woman reminds them to look at the safe. Mary remembers the combination to the safe upstairs, and Tom obtains the key without any trouble. The 3 of them start to run for the door, Tom opening the cellar lock, but just as he opens the door, this woman has been put in the basement because she ran over the blind man's daughter. The old blind man locked her in the cellar, but Mary and her gang, who were robbing the house, found out. As they were about to flee, the old man killed the woman with a single blow, but when the old man saw the woman dying, he took her in his arms. The old man was furious at the death of his enemy. He locked the door completely and cut off the power supply. Being blind, he got used to the darkness, but it's very hard for Marie and others. One sound and they're greeted by bullets. In the darkness, Mary groped her way forward and was about to bump into the old man. Fortunately, Tom's voice saved her life, but it also revealed his position. The old man pointed his gun at Tom's head, but he was out of bullets. He had to put his hands around his neck, but Tom pushed off the shelves. Then he found Mary again by sound, and they continued exploring in the dark. Soon, they found the lighted door, went outside and put a tool against the door. They ran upstairs and entered a room, but the windows were either blocked or fitted with rebar. The old man emerges from the basement, goes into the room and pulls out his revolver. That's when they find an air vent. Mary went in first, but Tom was caught by the dogs and fell onto the ground floor balcony. When he woke up and moved to the side, the old man shot him. Tom returned to the house and took cover, but the old man used his sense of smell to find him and pin him against a cupboard. The old man then grabbed a pair of large scissors and plunged them into Tom's body. By this time, Mary, who was standing in the ventilation shaft, could see the way out, but just as she kicked open the window to save her life, an accident occurred. When she woke up, she was tied up in the cellar. She begged the old man to let her go, but the old man said he lost his daughter because of this woman, so he wanted to borrow the woman's body to have a child. Now that Marie has ruined everything, she has to carry the child. Marie is desperate, but just as the old man is about to do the deed, Tom suddenly appears. It turns out that it wasn't he who was hit by the scissors, but Jack, the dead man. He hits the old man with a hammer, and the latter instantly falls to the ground. The two don't hesitate and head straight for the door to freedom.